Recording.
Yeah, it's recording.
Okay. Tir Shlishi. Oh, Shidduchim. You see someone wants to make a shidduch with another. And you know ki hachasan yesh chasroinus atzumim. I guess you're from the Kala side. You see, you know that the chasan has tremendous chasroinus, real things. We'll see soon. This is Sif Daled, what defines chesroinus atzumim. Manika chesroinus. The father of the Kala doesn't know anything about it. Vilo Yedea. If he would know, he would never, agree to this. Yesh Galasli. Says Chavetz Chaim, yeah, supposed to tell him. But you should know, Yesh Bazadin Ha'ave Pratim. There are many pratim to this halacha. Nevarim will come on, and we will explain them. Al kulam, and the top of them all, he says, before you mati yourself to tell the other side, right? Tell the father Kal in this case, you must take a good look at all of those pratim that we're going to speak about and make sure that you can put in a check by them. And you also shouldn't learn to be lenient from one thing to the other thing. Each case has to be checked out on its own. Before we start explaining this, so first let's get rid of some of the stumbling blocks that's common. He says, even though it's really not necessary to write it here, I'm true to mind because it's really givens. But since the damage that happens through this is so great, when people think it's like mutter, to have felt a need, says the Chavetz Chaim, to explain the tremendous tarmis of the Bali Lashon Hara, their trickery, their sneakiness. Hashem. Why? Because perhaps Hashem will help to remove some of the big blindness that's common here. Okay, so in Sif Hey, have to be very careful from the bad midos, I think that you have, that you're accustomed to be magana, to degrade one side to the other side about things that they're not. They're not. Dahainu, that is, imachasanu ish tam. Let's say the chasen, he's a simple guy. It's easy to take him for a ride because he's not sharp, to understand crooked people. And he's a simple guy, straightforward, good person, but he's not sharp in the ways of the world, let's say. Oshana writes his well, he's not interested in joking around like other people his age. Maybe he's a little bit more serious type of guy. So that's not a real fault. Neither of these things are fault. But the Bali Lashon, the Farsim, is Shaito Pesi. What are the Bali Lashon? They translate and then they publicize that he is a fool. To the extent that the people who hear this won't want to read a shidduch with him, or although they will want to break a shidduch that was been made already. This is like a statement you wouldn't expect the Chafetz Chaim to say, right? He only says good and sweet, and doesn't say bad. And here he says, Yachreis Hashem kosifsei chalokus avuzeh. Hashem should cut off the mouth, the slippery mouths for doing things like that. It's not sufficient that they're Bali Lashon Hara for saying these things. Because in these foolish, empty arguments, you're not fulfilling any of what we said above in Kal Tes Sivbeis. They're also fit the category of being a Moitzi Shema, Mikim Chu Sheker. This is not true. And even if this was all true, you would have to fulfill all of those conditions. And it's not common that you could fulfill them. Not only that, these people are people who are machtir rabim. Because of their bad nature, their evil nature, that they're quick, make fun, put down people. They force the good people to follow their lead. Why? The normal straight guy is afraid of these people. These people have big mouths, and like we said, what do? They publicize that this guy's a fool because he's not. Right? He's just a straight, simple guy. He's not interested in this. He's a more serious guy, but they're gonna publicize it. So he has no choice but, if you can't beat them, join them, type of thing. Even though, of course, he doesn't have to. But human nature is, if I can't beat them, I'm going to join them. And if I don't join them, then they're going to publicize me for being foolish people. So it's sort of against my will. I sort of have to go down their way. And then after a while, it becomes their second nature too. Darshan's the first parak in Tillim. If you went in their way, Sefer Lamed, at the end you're going to end up standing there. It's more permanent. Imamad Sefer Leishit. The person there says, don't go in their ways and don't sit in there, whatever. Right? Without Shem Lo Yoshav. He says you have to strengthen yourself not to support these guys. Even not to fight with them. You strengthen yourself, have nothing to do with them. As it says in the Pasuk, Mishlei, remember if they tell you to join us, go with us. No, hold back your steps from their roads. Because their ways, their where they go, they run to evil. Mishnah. Very famous Mishnah. I think you quoted it before. Says the Mishnah, it's preferable that a person should be considered, to be called, to be known as a fool his whole life, rather than for one moment be a Rasha in front of Hashem. So even if people are going to call those who don't want to speak Lashon Hara, then call them foolish and dumb and not with it, a nerd, and they're going to spread that, publicize that that's what this guy is. It's better that you should be considered a nerd your whole life and not do something wrong, not be a Rasha. haLashon Kriya. Says Chavetz Chaim, why does the Mishnah say mutav sheyikore adam shayta? If he is a shayach sham, that's because of what the Mishnah there is talking about. Even if it means doing an action, an active action, that people are going to call you a fool for that, it's preferable then to be called a Rasha. I feel sha'achas lamala. Mimasha matzini b'koetzel David. Where do we see this? By David HaMelech. He was caught by Avimelech. Avimelech wanted to kill him. And the way he saved himself was that he acted as if he was a fool, as if he was demented. That's one of the prakim we say on Shabbos in Psukei Zimra, right? Do I have a sitter here somewhere? What Jewish house doesn't have a sitter? Hold on.
Getters.
I'll check it out. Okay, recording is
So
coming
we
back.
say over here in Psukei Zimra, one of the extra paragraphs say the David Shanoi says Tamir Fnei Avimelech Vayivgasher Vayela. That's how it starts off. A praise written by David when he Shanoi says Tamir means he acted crazy. Over here in the explanation on the bottom it says Beisha David HaMelech Olav Hashalom Borach V'nei Shol. When David HaMelech was running away from Shol, Uba Eitzel Ochish Melech Gat. He ended up by Ochish, the king of Gad, Baratzal Harkai. And Ochish wanted to kill him. David is Dvari. David started speaking like a fool. Ledaber Mibli Chochma. To be saved from Avimelech. So it explains here. I mean, he just said it was Ochish. Why do we say Lefnei Avimelech? So he says in brackets, Avimelech and Koilu L'chol Machei Plishtim. It's like Parai was the name of all the kings in Mitzrayim. There were many Paros. It was the title of the kings in Mitzrayim. Avimelech was a name, a general name given to the kings of Plishtim, who Ochish Melech Gas. Okay, in any case, and he was saved. So Ochish said, I have enough crazy people in my country, I don't need this fool. And he sent them away. Right? So David HaMelech acted, not only was he active, and because of that people thought he was a fool, he was willing to act like a fool in order to save himself. And that's certainly true when it comes not to be considered a Russia. He shouldn't be caught. Certainly so. And further we see this in Mashama Chazal B'chumen ala Posik. Odav ubehema Teshia Hashem. On that Posik, there's the Gemara, Elu b'nei Adam. This is referring to people Shema Rumen Bedas. I guess that they're very wise, but Masimim Atzam Kabehema. But they act, they act as if they're behemoths, they hide their wisdom. In Brochas Hamoitzi K'layim Bebigdoi, my time, in Chachmu, in something Lufnei Hashem. You find K'layim in your clothing. Shatnez, you have to remove your clothing because there's no Chachma, there's no cover in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Another thing that's totally Yasser is to degrade one of the sides because of things that his parents, grandparents, right, have done. It's not relevant. Okay, it's not relevant. Okay, so we'll continue tomorrow as far as this case. Yeah, we'll have to sift off. We'll talk more about what's considered a real chisaron that you are obligated. Here he's saying these are things that you're not allowed to say, and you're called haLashon and Shemra for publicizing the person based on this. But what are real chisron is that you do have an obligation to tell. So we're going to learn more about that. Now, in Shmiras haLashon, we're at Perik Yud Gimel. He's talking about Kas. So it's called in the Luach Yomi Vov Shvat. V'yesh machmas Leitzonis. Oh, so the first thing he dealt with was kas. Right? The things that things midos that cause you, if you're a customer, it causes you to speak lashon hara. The first thing was kas. Like you said, when you're kas, your mind is not in control. You do things, you say things you wouldn't say otherwise. Now we have leitzonos. Now usually, in modern Hebrew, a letz is a joker, someone who makes jokes. But I think in Divrei Chazal, a letz is more someone who he's like sarcastic. He knocks things. Anything that's important, things like that. He's always knocking things. So here goes nafshay leitzon. So lechevras anoshon leitz was accustomed himself to hang out with these people. Came in mail and nishap kamas leitzayitz ma anoshon l'saper b'gdusam. So if you've accustomed yourself that this becomes you, that you're a letz, so then you can always find fault in people. You're always going to talk bad about people because that's how you view the world. You're always knocking. If you want to be clean, spend some time. You want to do tshuva, you want to clean yourself. So you need to spend time examining and understanding the tremendous Isra of Leitzonos. Besides that, he's sinning against himself because he's considered one of the four things or four groups that are not Mekapnei Shechina. Gemara and Site says there's four groups, and one of them's Leitzonos. They're not Mekapnei Shechina. So you're hurting yourself. But you're calling others to sin. You're the cause for more leitzonis, and that they should speak more leitzonis. And it's known the tremendous punishment when someone causes the rabbim to sin, saying that they don't give him the opportunity to do tshuva, Chazal and Gemara and Yuma. Besides this, this askus b'dvarim b'teilim, so someone who is busy with dvarim b'teilim. He's busy with dvarim b'teilim. Even if it wouldn't be a dvar also, even wouldn't be that he's doing something else. You're throwing away your time. That at the very same time you could be busy learning Torah. And acquiring this person is expressing from the way he's living that he's mevaza the Dvar Hashem and Schar Ne'elam Haba, because if he valued it, anytime he had to acquire it, he'd be busy doing that. And a letz is someone who's busy with doing nothing. The Gemara says on the pasuk, it says that he disgraced the word of Hashem. Rav Noy says, what is that? How do you disgrace? Anyone who has the ability, the opportunity rather, to be Isaac in Torah and doesn't do it, that's called Dvar Hashem Baza. It's not important. It was important he'd be busy with it. So therefore, he's saying that he's saying that this midah of leitzonos is a trigger for lashon hara, because by definition, that's what you're doing. You're making fun and mocking people. He said, and he's suggesting, the way of cleaning yourself from this midah is to appreciate how severe the midah is. He doesn't explain why, but it's one of the four groups that's not Makabel Pnei Shechina. He's Machdi the Ram, is causing other people to waste their time and be Leitzonim. He's being Mavazah Dvar Hashem and Schar Olam Haba. He's belittling them by his actions, that they're not important. And by concentrating on and realizing what your actions are doing is a big key to change them. When you appreciate how wrong what you're doing is and the consequences, then it's a springboard to do tshuva. Okay.